Roger, of course you play this sport for the titles, but do you also look forward to these kind of challenges when you have a new player on his way up, new test for you? Of course, they're all coming for you.
Well, I'm not sure about me, but it is a challenge for sure. I was asked what did I expect from the match today from Chung, and I wasn't quite sure. I had a plan in place, but then you adjust to it constantly. Maybe it's the win, maybe it's the opponent, because you just don't know his patterns quite yet. And I like that. I like when it's the unknown, even though it sometimes can be a bit scary, but it's all good, And again, it was great atmosphere. It was breezy. It was, and he's a great player. So I'm happy I found a way. Started off really well, struggled afterwards, found my game back again, and then was able to protect it, saving big break points early on in the second set. I think that was the key to the match. Those 10-15 minutes where I broke at the end of the first, and then saved break points early in the second. So. No, I'm very happy. Look, it was a good match. I played well.
You brought up it being breezy. You're here in tennis paradise. You had to play through rain and now some wind. Who knows what could hold for the next few days? How do you play through that?
Yeah, I mean, look. In some ways, we're used to having changes of these situations with the weather. I don't know, I'm ready for it, I guess. I've played in some sandstorms here or in some really breezy conditions here. Now when we go to Miami next week, it's going to be extremely humid, most likely. So that's a big change then again. And that's what people always ask me, what's your favorite tournament or what do you like in certain places? I think that challenge of every place just feels different. If you go to the indoors, it's totally different to when you play here or when you go to Miami or when you go to Wimbledon. There's always a different feel because of the weather alone. And so, this week has been different, day, night, rain, wind, we've had it all. So I'm ready, let's put it that way.
Roger, you know a thing or two about longevity. Just how do you put Tommy's career into perspective after what happened out there tonight?
I was very happy to be there for Tommy or for that big moment in Tommy's career. In the beginning, I guess we had a rivalry, but we knew each other a little bit, because we both German speaking, so we always got along well. Especially in the last sort of 10 years, ever since he started dating Sarah, and they had kids eventually. We got to know each other even better and better over time, and he was always one of my closer friends or closest friends on the tour, and I was always very closely in touch with his decision making as well. Maybe is he going to retire or not? We were always talking a little bit. So I'm just very happy for him that he was able to take this big decision. Because it's not an easy one, but it should be one of happiness, one of pride, and I think that's what he felt. At the same time, it's an emotional. That's what it's supposed to be, right? So I was happy to be there and to share the moment with him because it was his moment, and it was great to be there.
This is your best start to a calendar year in 12 years since 2006. What are some of the major things that are different about you now to then?
12 years ago, a long time ago. I don't know. What was I doing back then? I don't even remember what tournament I played first up and won. But look, honestly, I can't remember. I guess I had a similar good start to the year. But I guess back then, because I was on this massive streak of winning 30, 40 plus matches, so I guess it already had started the year before that, which this time it didn't. I had to get it going again in Australia. So it's a great start. Hopefully I can do one more and beat my best streak on Saturday. That would be great, but it doesn't matter.
Two-part question. Pete afterwards said that yes, he'd like to play some sets with you. Are you up for that? And secondly, that historic match against Pete early in your career at Wimbledon, what was the key to beating him?
We're going way back. You guys are challenging my memory. I think there was just trying to manage the nerves and trying to stay with Pete as long as possible. And the longer you can stay with the top guy, you know, the more the chances grow, really, that you can all of a sudden sneak in a win, you know. I remember saving break points, serve and volleying on the second serve in the fifth set, half volleying a volley, and then making the volley after that. Those were different days back then. You were living and dying by the sword back then. So, and then after that, I had a great return game. Eventually, when I was able to win 7-5 in that fifth set, picked the right side with the forehand. You know, felt it was coming to my forehand. I picked it. He didn't serve the perfect serve, and I was right there and hit it for a return winner. It was it kind of stung as much as it was joyful. It stung because, you know, I had to shake the hand of somebody I admired so much, and I knew that how much it would hurt him and it mean to me. So it was a very, very odd moment, but I'm happy I had the opportunity to be on court with him. And yes, I'd always like to play with Petey, because even nowadays, if I go and hit balls with him, I see what made him so great, and I would still feel like even just hitting balls with him, I would learn from him, you know, because those were the different days, and they had such different qualities than we have today. But he was the modern version of the older generation, so he was the bridge, really, if you like.
Roger, just when you thought that there couldn't be any more different stats about your record, something else crops up. And
What is that?
now it's like this is the 6th event where you've won 60 or more matches.
Okay.
Do you get blasé about these sort of things?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, is how many people have done that, or I mean, when you're in the game for long enough and successful enough, these things just tend to happen, I believe, you know, and it's not something you can ever chase, or yeah, it just shows me that I've played Indian Wells a lot, I've liked it a lot, and I kind of like the conditions here. And I guess what I like about these 6 different tournaments you talked about, they're all very different from one another. So that makes me very happy that I can play in different conditions, different situations with weather, surfaces, if you like. So, but to get to that number, you have to play the event a lot. Otherwise, you will never get there. So I've been also fortunate enough to maybe not be injured in this time of year too often, which has helped as well.
In the back, please.
Yes, Roger, you just said that you like this tournament a lot. So I wanted to get your take on what you think about the project that began 3 years ago with the murals of the champions that they're doing here at the Indian Wells. What do you think about the project in general, and what you thought about your mural that you unveiled recently, last week?
I liked it. It was well done. Met the artist as well. I thought he did a good job. It's very different. I've never seen something like it. I've seen the other murals before that, actually, you know, in sort of the Champions Lounge there when you wait going to center court, of Novak and other legends of the game. Billie Jean, there was one too, which, you know, they all looked very artsy, very nice, you know. So to have one of myself now that maybe people maybe like to take pictures with, I'm not sure. It's nice. What I enjoyed a lot was spending time with the children, really, because they had like an art project about it, which I guess is nice. To get them excited about tennis, and maybe about me as well, to me bring them in, and we had a great time. They were super happy. We met them all here, and then I took them over. I don't know, we had a good time, so that's what I remember the most, really, to be honest.
Roger, there's been so much talk about the next gen of players. Of course, you and Venus are both facing young players again in the semis. But with all the talk about them, here you and Venus are again in the semifinals of a major tournament. What does that say about the benefit of experience in today's game? Or what does that say maybe specifically about your game?
Yeah, that experience is a good thing too. It's not just about the young legs, you know. Got to put the ball in the right place, then they run more, and eventually they do maybe get more tired. I'm not sure, but it's... yeah, I mean, look, there's always going to be up-and-coming players. Some are better than others. Same with the older players. Some are better than others. I'm just happy that I'm able to keep up a good level. Same for Venus. I'm really happy for her. You know, that she's really consistently, easily making all these semis and finals and winning tournaments. It's great. And the young guys are still calibrating their game, understanding what they need to do exactly. They're still working on a lot of things. There's a lot of new things to them, you know, like the press room and the promotional stuff and sponsors and fans and all that stuff. There's a lot on the plate for them, but they'll learn and they get better, and then eventually they'll push us out, and that was the end from us. So pretty simple. Makes sense, right? It's just how life is. So.
When will we have the pleasure of having you play Open in Acapulco?
If there's a chance that I play Acapulco?
Yes, when we will have the pleasure.
Oh, when?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. Thing is, it's during the same time as Dubai, which I have an apartment in Dubai, and I've always played there. This year, for the first time, I didn't play Dubai either, but I haven't made plans yet for next Feb. But rather doubtful that I'll go to play Acapulco, to be quite honest. I follow what schedule of the family is, and we'll have to decide if we go to Dubai or we stay in Switzerland or not. So, but I heard great things about it. Players really like the tournament, and they said it's well run, good crowds especially, which would be always very attractive to find out, you know, how that atmosphere would play. Last time I played in Mexico was 1996 in the juniors, Mexico City, so it's a long time ago. I should be going back at one point.
Last English, Joe? What impressed you about Sean tonight? He was obviously healthier than Australia, so what about his game?
Good intensity, you know, solid in his mind. I like his speed of shots, you know, forehand and backhand. There's always yeah, it's a heavy ball, and he's very consistent, you know. And in today's game, that's a lot. And then he's good on the defense, and he also likes to come to the net. So I see a lot of good things moving forward for him.
Swiss press, please. Here.